You got to learn to use isolation to distance yourself from the distractions, to distance yourself from expectations, and to distance yourself from attachments. Isolation is the art of detaching. It's similar to a fast when you are eating every day rhythmically. The moment you begin to fast is the moment in which you start to realize how much food plays a critical role in your life, how much attachment you have to food. You begin to crave it, you begin to yearn for it. Things don't feel normal. You just feel a little different, a little agitated. You might have a little bit of brain fog. Your energy is going to be low. But it's just because your body isn't used to being in a state in which certain hormones and certain enzymic reactions and things of that nature is happening. You're not gonna die. You know, you eat every single day your whole life, and one day you decide not to eat. You go 13, 14, 15, 16 hours without eating. Shoot, you might feel like you're about to die. But it's interesting because if you can make it to 24 hours, once you get to sleep and wake up, the next day will be a little easier. You make it to the third day, to the fourth day, it'll begin to get a whole lot easier. The first maybe second day is the worst days of a 7-day fast. Because it takes your body time to adjust. Isolation is something very similar. Initially, it might take some time to adjust. But once you can finally detach, and you're no longer waiting for the person to come through, you're no longer waiting for the text or waiting for the call or waiting for the communication, you begin to free yourself. Things like this is probably what keeps people in relationships. It's just the addiction to the person, the addiction to the communication. It has less to do with the relationship itself and more to do with the addiction that was formed by having this relationship. These are realities. These are things that, to become the wild card, to become the joker, the evoke, to become the wild card in this world, you're gonna have to break free from every addiction, including people. In the 48 Laws of Power, they say isolation is dangerous. And I agree. It is dangerous. But who's to say that danger is something that should be avoided? To become the wild card, you gotta embrace danger. Oh, it's dangerous. Yeah, and there's a lot of things that's dangerous. But if you want to get to that top level, you're going to have to do it anyway. If it was easy, if there was no danger, if there was no risk, if there was nothing to lose, if the stakes weren't high, then everybody would do it. And if you refer back to one of the earlier memos, if everybody became the top, got rich, whatever, then nobody's rich. Because the goalposts will move. So it's dangerous because the type of people that deserve to be the top spot, the type of people that'll look danger in the face and say, all right, we gonna do it. Safe mofos can stay on the porch. Don't hop off the porch. Stay safe. But if you're trying to be the wild card, hey, you ain't trying to play it safe. You're gonna get a little dangerous sometimes. If you expecting me to tell you to come in here and it's gonna be all airy fairy and it's gonna be easy, yeah, isolation is great. You can go into monk mode and then you'll figure it all out. Nigga, excuse my language. No, that ain't what's gonna happen, G. That ain't what's gonna happen. You're gonna have them hunger pains. You're gonna have to detox. Imagine a person that's on is taking perkies every day and then they gotta sober up. Sure, I remember detoxing from weed. You know, it's not as, the withdrawals aren't as serious as, I guess, hard drugs, but trying to eat food, it's harder to digest than to eat food. It's harder to stimulate hunger. Getting to sleep may just be a little different. Because your senses are dampened a bit and lowered a bit until your body recalibrates and expels the THC, and then all of your senses will heighten once again. This similar process is a process that takes place during isolation. I suggest isolation be used to purge. Purge and burn away attachments. Attachments from food, from drugs, from people, friends, family, significant others. Because you might find that the more isolated that you become, and once you start to get rid of those attachments and you start to get rid of how those feel to you, you begin to free yourself. That's the first step of freedom. Because now there is no expectations. That's what isolation really does. It sets the stage where there is no expectations from any external source besides self. That's where power begins. You can begin to fantasize and imagine yourself in a different world, as a different person, around different people, doing different things, becoming new. It's the great nexus. It's the great creating point. It's one of the things that to become the wild card, you're gonna have to embrace maybe multiple times throughout your journey. Because this complete transformation is not a transformation that happens in a month or 2 months or 3 months. This transformation is gonna happen over the course of years. By the time you find this channel, these videos, you might be on your 5th year, on your 6th year, on your 4th year, 3rd year. You might be along the process already. So I'm not saying I am your kindergarten teacher. I'm not even your elementary school teacher. You come to me when you're ready to graduate. That's the people that's gonna find this. The people that's ready to graduate. They done been through the schools of consciousness. They already know about astrology, tarots and psychics, and they got knowledge of self. They know about the mind. They're not new. And if you are new to it, welcome. You just went to the most advanced class from the jump. And let me save you some time then. All that extra stuff is cool. But at the end, in the beginning of the day, it's about your desires. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? And how do you want to do it? Do you have a clear vision of who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world? And if you have a clear vision on who you want to be at your truest core and how you want to show up in the world, then you're already more advanced than at least I was. I just wanted knowledge. I wanted to know. I wanted gnosis. That's what I was in it for. At least that's what I thought. Because, you hear the adage, knowledge is power. It's like, yeah, it is. But knowledge is also infinite. So if knowledge is infinite, there's an infinite ways to power. But what do you want? Here's the easy way to come up with that question, to come the answer to that question. If you had to trade all the knowledge that you could possibly get for anything, for a specific state of being, a specific lifestyle, what would you trade it all in for? Someone might say, well, I'll trade it for $1 billion. Do you really want to be a billionaire? Really answer that question. Do you really want to be a billionaire? Or do you want the respect that you feel like a billionaire has, or the freedom that you think a billionaire has? The access to vehicles, to women, to houses, to food, to drugs. What is it exactly about being a billionaire that's so appealing to you? Because if you don't want power, absolute power, and immortal dominion, then don't even worry about $1 billion. Worry about, getting enough money to be able to live the type of lifestyle you want, dressing how you want to dress, looking how you want to look, so you can attract the type of people and the experiences that you want in your life. It ain't about it's not a monetary value on that. It's more of a social value. You got to worry about who you want to be socially from that standpoint. And that's important as well. But you got to know that if it's like, there's nothing that I would trade for this infinite knowledge. Ooh, you might be a bad mofo. You might be a wild card. You might be a joker. Joke says, wow, you the wild card, baby. And I assume that you have a plan and a vision that you want to execute, that you want to establish dominion and create a world within the world in which you are king.